Welcome everyone to yet another SDN Community Voices, our touch, a touch point with you, the community of the Service Design Network that follow us and is interested in service design. Today I'm joined with Jane Vita, one of the co-organizers of the SDGC 24 in Helsinki workshops, who is going to be talking a little bit more about the workshops, how they work, why they work, and all of those things. I apologize a little bit if there's a little bit of a background noise. I'm currently in another event in São Paulo, but hopefully we can get a lot from these sessions. So I'll bring Jane now to the stage. Welcome.
Hello, Felipe. Hello, everybody who is actually joining us today. Great to be here.
Yeah, I'll ask you just to quickly introduce yourself.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm Jane Vita. I have been now evolving with design for many years, like 20 plus years, working with the consultancies like Futurize, Digitalist, Fjord. And I have now recently joined Metso. It's an industry like minerals. Well, with this life in service design for a bit of time now, like around 10 years. Did my master's in at Laudia University. Now doing my doctoral in at Auto. Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
That's enough.
Yeah, that's quite a journey there. But yeah, so to start off with the workshops at the Service Design Conference this year, why to have workshops? Why to have a day before the conference that you're joining other people that you maybe never met and everything like that?
Oh, I think that's a great opportunity, right? To have a day full of interactive kind of activities. So we think that you people can come for the week even, right? We have other events happening, but the day one we want to have this kind of interactivity and also bring sponsors to ensure they can bring some of their daily tools and get it to inactivate them with the audience. I think that's a fantastic opportunity for us.
Yeah, I believe so. I personally was part of a workshop in Berlin last year, and it was a great opportunity, I would say, to just learn from different people, from different topics, and just interact a little bit. And I think in general, it's quite a good warm up also for the conference because you're just like going from practice and then directly to all the different sessions that we have in the conference, right?
Totally, and you can make some friends even, right? That
Yeah.
day. So if you were alone coming for the conference or with a couple of, why not to grow the network already there? I think that's brilliant. And for me, like having some practical exercise, right? It's also pretty good because you can always connect this to talks, to things that and it's a more close, like kind of audience as well. So we have like not too many, right, discuss with the with the facilitators. And it's excellent that
Yeah.
we have this
How many
opportunity
people
to bring
is
them all here.
around per session?
Well, we it varies, right? We have workshops that are like 20 people, like the maximum. Then we have some that are 40, right? So we have four, but then it balances with the number of facilitators coming also to facilitate this session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it ends up being, I mean, still quite intimate kind of setup, right? Because if you are there in the conference, maybe you are with a couple of hundred different people, and there's just like 20 people and maybe a couple of facilitators. So it's quite more intimate setting there.
It is. It is. Yeah, and it is a practical thing as well, right? You can write stuff. You can experiment different kind of methods, and that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
Deep dive into specific topics as well.
Yeah, and for anyone that's interested while you're talking about the workshops, I will leave here a QR code for you to be able to read a little bit more about the different workshops that are going to be happening at the Service Design Global Conference. Um, and in the meanwhile, what do you think about the topics? Like, is there one that you like the most or the least? Or
Wow, I think they're like so interesting. One I can maybe. talk about it, I think that should be fine, right?
Yeah.
So basically we have workshops that are more into sustainability, for example, like looking at the behavioral, like why people choose, things, and how we drive more sustainable behavior. We have topics on the transition for organization, culture change. I think that's also brilliant. We have topics on the, of course, generative AI and how we benefit as creatives, any strategies with these new tools we have in, and also how they mature fast and how we benefit from this maturity along, along the journey, let's say. We have topics on the journey, like a customer journey, and then like how emotions play a role and how we can leverage those emotions, and then like amazing, sponsors like local sponsors, City, Tasty, and then we have like a telecom. We have like name it few here. We have universities like Laudia also there. I totally encourage you to look at them and then browse and see what actually resonates with you. But we have from like beginners to advanced level workshop. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
pick and
remember from,
choose.
yeah, that's, I mean, it's a lot of different options. And I remember from Berlin, it was quite the same. And I ended up being in the designing with children's rights perspective. So it was quite interesting just to have this different take into inclusive design that a lot of times is talking about the elderly or different cultures, but then you kind of looking backwards to like children, which are a very big and important part of our society also. So for me, it was quite an interesting perspective to have from Bettina and Elizabeth that were facilitating, and also the practical part, right? So we were there doing a project that by the end actually was judged by a couple of children that decided which one was the best project. So
There
that was like a nice experience, I would say, to learn more.
Yeah, definitely it is. Yeah. And this year we had like the bundle, like, you know, tickets plus workshop kind of deals. We have like prices for students. So it's a world of opportunities there also to join. We later in this month, we also will have members only
Mm.
uh, two workshops that we can talk in another session, but it'll be like also amazing opportunities for people to that can't pay to actually join. If you're a member, you can benefit from it if you're coming to Helsinki.
Yeah, that's
So
100%.
it's good to come a day earlier. Let's say.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, hopefully also by October we still have somewhat good weather in Scandinavia and the Nordics. So
Oh, good. I don't know. I cannot promise that, but it is always. It's not snowing. Let's say it's not slushy either. So it's still like a, I think, autumn kind of feeling. I guess so. I
yeah,
myself, I told you I'm Brazilian, so I kind of tend to somehow, like not think much about the winter time. But this time of the year is amazing. Yeah.
yeah. No, right now it's quite good. I am actually in Brazil right now, and it's actually super cold. I'm very happy to go back to Scandinavia and just be a little bit warmer.
There you go. Oh
Yeah.
my.
But then we have how many workshops are there going to be in the conference?
Now, published, we have 9
Okay.
workshops. One is sold out, so the smartly customer journey management, like customer journey ops, it's actually now sold out. We had a 30 seats, so it's amazing that I think this is a repeating kind of opportunity we have every conference that we can deep dive to customer journey management
Yeah.
with Smartly, and I think this is quite a a diamond there. But we have other workshops that I think it's super interesting on kind of in terms of understanding more how accessibility strategies come across, service design, and then sustainability. And I think this kind of more strategic topics that sometimes is very sensitive for us to discuss, and then also be customer centric and all that. So all together, so I think
Yeah.
it's a good way of like a kind of sharpening the the tools.
Yeah, and I would say that they tie a lot also to a lot of the sessions and speakers that are going to be coming to the conference. So again, there's like this kind of conversation between the first day and the other 2 days, right?
Right. Some of the talks they extend, so there are talks, facilitators that are also talking at the conference, having speaking at the conference, and then yeah, but you'll be there anyway. I think the people are very open to discussions, right? So if you have any questions about the workshops, it's good to reach out. You know, we have like LinkedIn and everything there, so people can reach out to the facilitators and maybe ask more if they are not sure or I think that's also opportunity, to connect.
Yeah, 100%. And it's a great afternoon overall, I would say. I think at least the workshop that I joined was about 3, 4 hours long. So I arrived the day before, I just have some sleep and organization, and then I was there for the afternoon. And then you have the full day also the full night, sorry, to explore the city a little bit before you start diving into the conference also.
There you go. So the in the after we have actually morning sessions and afternoon sessions,
Oh,
and you're
okay.
right. So around 3.5 hours session with breaks, and you have like a coffee break in between. So it's kind of 2.5 hours, I think, to us total. Morning and after. So if you want to come for a day of workshops, you can have one workshop in the morning and one in the afternoon. So it's really fine. And this time we actually have a few that we are hosting at the Parsitoni, which is our venue, which is the main venue of the conference. And we also have a few that are in, for instance, cities in their studio. So you have also the opportunity to actually go to their studio and see. And then another one, which is from Taiste, that is in Design Museum. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting
Oh,
one
that's
too. Yeah.
I mean, I think so. It's great to have different venues also, right? Because a workshop becomes kind of this embodiment activity because it's so practical when you're there, and having these different venues really helps to bring to light the conversations and topics you're working on the workshop.
Very good. And they have their own tools and things. I think they can leverage a bit there. But this year, we also wanted to give the opportunity to facilitators that are coming from different countries, right, to have a space. So we are hosting them at Paseton. And of course, if the company feels that, okay, let's have it like close to the other ones, it's opportunity we have this year to host those events. And we have actually one workshop which is online with Falai design, transition design, which is super interesting. I really like, and then I have been in a few of the Zainab conversations before, and I really encourage people to, look at the complexity of how transition design works, and with the service design, all tools, and yeah, one that I also would
Yeah,
recommend people. I'm a bit biased, Felipe, to
maybe
tell
just
these things
a little
because
bit.
it's like just too much bias, let's say. Yeah,
Yeah,
we have been involved, right, in the discussions. I think everyone has like a very genuine kind of willingness to bring something cool for the audience, right? And I think this is already, a sign that people, even though they're like, some of them are like, we say like sponsors, right, as well. It's not only about the brand, it's also like the people from the organization. It's like real designers giving those workshops, so you get the a bit of the daily work that they have in their agency. So it's a
yeah.
fantastic way of doing it.
Yeah, and to pinpoint something that you mentioned, like digital workshop, I think that's absolutely great also because from the past years, the global conference has been running hybrid, so both online and presential, and it's just quite an amazing opportunity for anybody that might not be able to travel all the way to Helsinki or is not very close to Europe right now and can actually join a workshop also on top of the actual full conference that we have.
That's true. Yeah, and of course now we are the this day one, right? The workshop day one, it's exclusive for attendees, right, of the conference. But around, I think, September, like mid of September, we might open for the general public. I think first for the SDN members, and then if there is still places that we can, fulfill in those workshops. So, well, if you're planning to come and then you're not sure, I think that's also a great to, maybe like making a decision now could, ensure a place for you in one of those workshops. But we
Yeah,
want, that we want that this workshop succeed. I think that as an organization, we also want, it's about the audience for sure, that we bring quality content for them, but also for, who is running those workshops, that they have an audience that it's willing to, learn what they bring to us, right? So I think that's a combination of like a stakeholder management plus, like our customers. I mean, it's
yeah.
already service design there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a learning experience first and foremost. So I think it's a double-edged sword there, because the facilitators, of course, want to provide a very good experience, and the people that are there are very excited to learn. So you ended up having this very big kind of group of 20 to 40 people that are just like learning and with each other also, right? So it's just kind of this experience of collaborative learning in a way.
Yeah. And I think for us, right, like Felipe, I think that work with service design is always so great to see how other people are facilitating, and how, our colleagues are interacting, and then, having discussions around that. I think it's also experience that, if you haven't had the experience, it's also great to see how people do this kind of stuff. I actually learn a lot from the workshops I join, that are not work related, let's say,
Yeah, yeah,
because there's always like topics that, sometimes they are not with the intent to kind of solve anything, but rather kind of grow knowledge, which is great. So it's kind of a commitment that has a little bit, less. Say, you are very safe. Let's say that.
yeah. And I
So
think
it's
it's
a
always great.
great playground.
Yeah, and I think it's great also this part of the surprise or playground or being playful in a way also, because you might just read like very lightly about the workshops and not necessarily completely recognize yourself there, but maybe some workshops that you're not so familiar with might really turn out for the better and create some tools and information that you can use on your practice later on.
Totally, yeah. And I think there is always something. I tell you, there is always something you can take to your toolbox, and kind of, and I would say, cop with pride, So,
Yeah, and I think
or
something that
cop
I
and twisted, and
Yeah, and I think something that I always keep mentioning is that service design as a discipline is so multidisciplinary. So you can always learn so much by the experience of other people that come from other disciplines or have a background in other disciplines and now are service designers. And even if you're not a service designer yourself, there's so many of the tools and methods that you can use on your own practice as, I don't know, an architect or engineer or even a doctor that can always help kind of create this bridge between the different disciplines.
exactly. Yeah. Well, it's incredible, like the amount of backgrounds we have in service design. So, yeah. If you think about, like, well, many of my friends and the people that are organizing the conference, they are actually they work as a service designers, but they have like completely different backgrounds. So you're
Yeah,
totally right on that.
100%. And
Yeah.
now I take a little bit of time to shout out also that if you want to secure a place on the Service Design Global Conference this year, we just had the news that we only have 100 tickets left, so you should be quite quick to go about it. Because maybe once we open the places for members and then later for the general public to participate on these amazing workshops we're talking about, maybe there's they might be sold out already, as we know that one of them is already sold out. So I think it's a great opportunity there, as we're saying, just to connect and learn, and just learn something new, and that you can bring to your practice, either being a service designer or not.
Brilliant. And I think he's 80 now. I don't know. It's 102 days ago, so I think it
Yeah,
might be a
yeah,
little
yeah.
less.
So this is a little bit of old news. So it's actually it. So so just
There we
rush
go.
to get
Yeah,
this
no,
done.
but and come to Helsinki. It's actually a city that I totally encourage people to come and in brief design here, because it's design. It's well, it is a profession and a discipline that is well recognized in the city, and you can see this from the the what people are sharing during the
Yeah,
conference. So we do have some case from the audience. We will be have in the conference itself. We have the booth and some sponsors that are willing to actually bring this a little bit of the the culture here as well.
yeah,
And that, I think that's it's great. I think that being an international conference and happening in different cities, I think that gives you not only this design content but also opportunity to get to know other design local applied kind of
yeah, yeah. 100%.
inside. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting Helsinki as a city also, as a lot of the Nordic cities there are, because they have very big emphasis on urbanism and kind of well-being and how you structure a city uh, related to that. And even though they don't call it service design, is quite related to it. So you can also learn a lot about service design just by being in those different cities that care about their population and how you structure cities and walking and everything like that.
Is that, and we do have like two other topics, Felipe, we want to talk another day. I think today we won't get it there, but there is like two side events happening before the conference, which actually we are promoting, which is on the education side and in the gov side, which brings this kind of insights you just said. And one of our sponsors is the city of Helsinki, where we are actually having the ceremony. You're gonna, if you browse our website, you're gonna get this all what I'm saying. But pretty much we have the open ceremony happening in the city hall. So it will be great. So we have like a talk on the city, Helsinki city, case studies here. Yeah, and then we have tours and then a sound experience actually happening on the Saturday if you want actually to, come and stay for the weekend. And we also have opportunity to join this other event. So me and Vivi have been organizing the what we call like workshops and side events, and you'll be talking a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah.
But I totally encourage people to stay from Monday to Sunday, so
Yeah.
you get the full experience.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things happening, and I remember again from my experience in Berlin, the visits to the different offices there, and just like hanging out, understanding the environment and the people there. But at the same time, it's quite informal setting in a way, so you kind of can not feel threatened and just enjoy the experience of learning and meeting new people in different places.
Yeah, and we are all volunteers, right, Felipe? Like no one
Yeah,
here. I tell you, like none of the people that are organizing the event here as like a local team. It's everything we do is volunteer. So we are just putting our passion there. We try our best to have everything,
yeah,
lovely, and I think that will show, right? I can see that the results are great already, but it's volunteer work, right? So it's we use the little time we have after work. Some of them, like even a little bit at work,
yeah.
off the topic. But I think it's something that people are putting a lot of passion, and no one is getting extra money, or we're getting tickets, of course, because we,
To
but
be
we're not
there.
getting any extra money for that. So it's purely passion, I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's just great. I think all the different initiatives we have from volunteers as SDN. The workshop's just one of them. There's so many that we can talk about. But in the meanwhile, I'll open for questions. So if anybody has any questions for Jane about the workshops or the service design global conference in general, um, and in the meanwhile, while we wait for any questions that might arise, um, let's just go and I ask you, um, is there one of the workshops they're very excited about? Like when they came, you're just like, ooh, that's great.
You want to know this one?
Yeah, maybe.
I have been trying to skip it. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
No, well,
No,
goodness,
I'm
if
putting you
I'll
on the
join
spot.
myself a workshop. Oh God, yeah.
I
Well, they're
mean, you
like
did say there's workshops in the morning and afternoon, so you can choose one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So you were a little bit more
oh,
democratic about it.
yeah. Well, I'm very much into sustainability, right? So I would go for something which actually helped me with the understanding customer, because sustainability is an interesting thing, right? Like in general, like if you are
Yeah,
looking at sustainable options and bringing customer sustainability into customer experience, is pretty much let's say experiential impact,
yeah,
which is like the customer choice is actually driving it. So we are driving a lot of behavior there, right? So there's a lot of behavior science kind of involved, which I think it's brilliant. And I think we have like good you know tools there. For instance, I see here, I'm just kind of browsing. We have the Lab University with the topic related to it, Lego syrup, like with serious play with Laudia. We have it like within this kind of a VUCA world, right? With this kind of a Laudia, like looking at more the uncertainty. I think that's like brilliant. And then this kind of multi, I would say, challenges we have been facing, right? So I think
yeah,
that's a brilliant one. Well, and then of course, if you're thinking about how AI and generative AI in general is impacting our creative work, I think there's two workshops here that I could see that are really tackling this kind of challenge on actually pairing and collaborating directly with the AI, but also using AI as a like a maybe like a passive kind of like customer kind of entity, kind of
yeah.
play around with this kind of profiles. And this I'm guessing, I really, Philip, we talked later before about that. We should arrange, some sessions with the facilitators that they can really bring their thoughts, right? That I'm
Yeah,
not
really go more.
speaking for them, right? So
Yeah,
it's
and getting to the more details, I think they can explain
exactly, exactly,
their own subjects a
exactly.
little bit better also. Just to, I
Yeah.
mean, this session was more just to get an overview of the different topics and workshops that you can maybe find at the Service Design Global Conference. And we have one also that's online. So if you're joining online from the conference, you can also be part of the workshops. And it's just an amazing opportunity to learn a little bit more from these amazing experts that are going to be facilitating them.
Yes, and they are amazing facilitators. And we
Yeah,
have their descriptions there, so you want to get to know them. I'm sure you are in the right hands, let's say. Very
100%.
good.
And then with
Yeah.
this, I'll finish today's session. I thank you very much, Jane, for your time, and Vivi also, uh, you two for organizing these workshops. And yeah,
And thanks, Vivi. You're not here, but we are
yes,
representing you. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much, Philippe, and great to be here. And if people have any questions, just let us know. You can reach out to the facilitators. I think that's if you're really not sure, is this for me, and you have like questions. I totally encourage to reach out to them. We have
100%.
their like contacts there and it's easy to see. Wow,
Perfect.
thanks, Philippe.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you.
so much.
I hope you have a good day.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you, everyone that joined us today for the SDN Community Voices. Once again, thank you, Jane and Vivi, for co-organizing these amazing workshops that we're going to be having at October in Berlin. And I hope to see you again next Thursday for the next episode of SDN Community Voices.